She asked me to help pay for a surgery she'd always dreamed of. 2 months later, I found messages to another guy. New body, new life. I didn't confront her. I just sent the final surgery bill to her dad's email. She left crying that night and hasn't stopped since. Before we start, I just want to say thank you for being here. It means the world, but take a look at this. Only 8% of people watching are subscribed. If you enjoy these stories and want to support more of them, just one click makes a huge difference. I never thought I'd be that guy posting one of these stories, but here we are. Still processing everything, but writing it out might help me make sense of the past few months. I'm 32, work as a logistics manager for a manufacturing company. Nothing glamorous, but the pay is solid, and I'm good at what I do. I met Kayla, 29, at a friend's wedding about 2 years ago. She was the bride's cousin visiting from out of state. We hit it off, did the long-distance thing for a few months, and then she decided to move to my city. Said she was looking for a change anyway, and her job in event planning was flexible enough that she could find something similar here. Things moved pretty quickly after that. She moved in with me about 6 months after relocating, and everything seemed great. She was funny, outgoing, ambitious, everything I thought I wanted. Her new job paid less than her previous one, but we made it work. I covered a bit more of our expenses since I earned more, which seemed fair. Around our 1-year anniversary, Kayla started talking about a breast augmentation surgery she'd always dreamed of, said she'd been self-conscious her whole life, and it would make a huge difference to her confidence. I'm not the type to care much about that stuff. I thought she looked great as she was, but I could see it really mattered to her. She had been saving, but was still short about $8,000 for the procedure she wanted with the specific surgeon she'd researched. After several conversations, I agreed to help cover the remaining cost. It was a lot of money, but I had savings and I figured this was something meaningful to someone I saw a future with. I'll pay you back. She insisted once I'm back at work and settled. I told her not to worry about it. Consider it a gift. In retrospect, that was my first mistake. The surgery was scheduled. Everything went smoothly, and Kayla was thrilled with the results. Recovery took a few weeks, during which I took care of pretty much everything. Cooking, cleaning, helping her with post-op care. She was grateful at first, constantly thanking me for my support, both financial and emotional. About 2 months after the surgery, I noticed changes. Subtle at first. She was going out more, spending more time at the gym, posting more on social media, all reasonable things for someone feeling more confident. Right. I didn't think much of it. Then came a Saturday when Kayla was at a work event, and I was catching up on some emails on our shared iPad. A message notification popped up from Instagram. I wasn't snooping, but the preview caught my eye. Can't wait to see the new you in person. 2 more weeks. Something about it felt off. I opened the message. It was from a guy named Derek. I scrolled up a bit and saw Kayla's previous message to him. New body, new life. So excited to finally be with someone who appreciates the real me. My stomach dropped. I kept reading. The conversation went back several weeks, starting shortly after her recovery. There were plans, explicit photos she'd sent him, complaints about me being boring and predictable. Worst of all were the messages about how I'd invested in her glow up, but wouldn't get to enjoy the benefits. I felt sick, not just from the betrayal, but from the calculated nature of it all. This wasn't a momentary lapse or a relationship that had faded. This was premeditated. She'd planned to use me for the surgery and then move on. Apparently to this Derek guy who lived back in her hometown. My first instinct was confrontation, anger, all the typical reactions, but something stopped me. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was my natural tendency to think strategically before acting. Whatever it was, I decided to take a different approach. I closed the messages, cleared the notification, and started gathering information. First, I checked our shared expenses. Turned out Kayla had been saving aggressively, not to pay me back as she'd hinted, but for what looked like a move. There were browser searches for apartments in her hometown, shipping costs for belongings, job applications. She was planning to leave in 2 weeks, right when she was scheduled to finally be with Derek. Here's where it gets interesting. When we'd set up the surgery, I'd paid the initial deposit directly to the surgeon's office. The remaining balance, a hefty $6,500, had been charged to my credit card, but the detailed itemized statement had been sent to Kayla's email since she was the patient. I'd never actually seen the full breakdown. I contacted the surgeon's office, explained I was the financially responsible party, and asked for a copy of the final bill for my tax records. They were happy to help and emailed it over within an hour. What I found was illuminating. The procedure Kayla had described to me, a standard augmentation, should have cost around $8,000 total. The actual bill was for over $12,000, the difference. She'd added liposuction and some other refinements without telling me. When I looked closer at the paperwork, I saw how she pulled it off. The surgeon's office had my credit card on file, but all the procedure approvals and changes had been handled through her patient portal. She'd simply added the extra procedures during her pre-op consultation, signed the updated consent forms herself, and since I'd given the office authorization to charge my card for the procedure, they processed the higher amount without needing additional approval from me. A loophole I'd never considered when I agreed to pay. I didn't confront Kayla, didn't tell her what I knew. Instead, I forwarded the complete itemized surgical bill to her father's email with a simple message. Mr. Wilson, I thought you might want to see what your daughter convinced me to pay for, given your family's conservative values. Also, she's planning to leave me in 2 weeks for someone named Derek after I financially supported her move here, her lifestyle for the past year, and this surgery. Just thought you should know where the money for her business course actually went. Some context. Kayla's father was a traditional religious man who she described as extremely judgmental about physical appearance modifications. She'd told me they'd had major fights about her even getting ear piercings as a teenager. She'd also apparently told her parents that the money I loaned her was for a business development course to advance her career. I had his email because last Christmas, he'd sent out a family newsletter to everyone, including me. I'd saved it thinking it was nice to be included as almost family. Ironic how that turned out to be useful in a way none of us could have anticipated. I sent this email at 3:47 p.m. By 6:30 p.m., all hell had broken loose. I was in the living room reading when Kayla burst through the door. Mascara streaming down her face, phone clutched in her hand. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. "What did you do?" she demanded, voice shaking. I looked up calmly. "What do you mean?" "My dad, how could you tell him about the surgery? He called me screaming, said I've disgraced the family, said I'm no better than a..." She couldn't even finish the sentence. I set my book down. "Oh, well, I figured since I paid for it and you were planning to leave me for Derek in 2 weeks anyway, your parents should know where their daughter's business course money actually went." The color drained from her face. "How did you? Does it matter? Instagram, the searches for apartments back home, the money you've been saving for your move instead of paying me back. Take your pick." She switched tactics immediately. Tears flowing. "It's not what you think. Derek is just a friend. I was just venting about our relationship. Everyone does that. Sure. Everyone sends explicit photos to their friends and makes plans to leave their partners. Totally normal. I can explain everything." She insisted. "I'm sure you can. You're very good at explanations, like how you explained that the surgery would cost $8,000 when it actually cost $12,000 with all the extras you added without telling me." Her face shifted from desperation to anger. "You had no right to go through my messages or contact my father. Interesting that you're more upset about being caught than about what you did," I observed. "By the way, your things should probably be packed within the week. I don't think you need to wait the full 2 weeks for your grand escape plan now." What followed was an epic meltdown, crying, pleading, anger, bargaining. She tried everything. When nothing worked, she called her mother, who apparently told her she needed to come home immediately to deal with your father. She left that night still crying with just an overnight bag. Said she'd be back for her things. Her father had apparently demanded she return home immediately if she wanted any chance at repairing their relationship. The next day, I received a series of text messages from her. "I never meant to hurt you. This isn't fair. My dad is making me see our pastor for counseling. My whole family knows now. Derek blocked me." I didn't respond to any of them. She came back the following weekend with her mother to collect her things. Her mom couldn't even look me in the eye. I stayed in my home office while they packed, only coming out to return Kayla's set of teas when they were finished. "I really did care about you," she said as a parting shot. "Just not $12,000 worth apparently," I replied. "It's been 3 weeks now." Through mutual friends, I've heard that Kayla is living with her parents, her relationship with her father is strained, and Derek wants nothing to do with her drama. Her social media has gone dark. No more photos showcasing the new body she was so proud of. I've had some time to reflect on everything. Was sending that email to her father petty? Maybe, but I'm not sure what the alternative was. Confronting her directly would have just led to more lies. At least this way, she has to face real consequences for her actions. A friend suggested I take her to small claims court for the surgery money, but honestly, I just want to move on. Consider it an expensive lesson in seeing people for who they really are, not who I want them to be. The hardest part isn't even the money. It's realizing that our entire relationship for the past several months had been a facade. That while I was taking care of her after surgery, she was already planning her exit with my investment backing her new life. I've blocked Kayla's number and removed her from all my social media. Changed the Netflix password to petty, I know, but satisfying. I'm focusing on work, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected, and reminding myself that one person's deception doesn't define my worth or my future. If there's a lesson here, maybe it's about maintaining your self-respect even when walking away means accepting a loss. Or maybe it's just about being careful who you helped finance a dream surgery for. Either way, I'm healing. And from what I hear, Kayla's still crying. Edit. Wow. This post blew up more than I expected. Thanks for all the comments and support. Trying to address some of the common questions and reactions. 1. To the people saying I violated HIPAA laws by getting her medical bill. That's not how it works. I was the financially responsible party who actually paid for the procedure. The surgeon's office confirmed my identity and sent me my billing information, which I had every legal right to access. 2. For those asking if I regret sending the email to her dad, not really. Some have called it nuclear, but honestly, what was the alternative? Let her continue manipulating her family while she screwed me over. All I did was reveal the truth. How her family reacted to that truth is on them. 3. Several people have pointed out that I could take her to small claims court. Yes. I probably could, especially now that I have documentation showing she misrepresented the costs. But the hassle, the continued connection to her, and the uncertainty of actually getting paid back make it not worth it to me right now. Maybe I'll reconsider in the future. Number 4, to the person who messaged me saying I'm body shaming by exposing her surgery. Are you serious? I paid for it. I never shamed her for wanting surgery. I exposed her for lying about it, using me to fund it, and planning to leave me immediately after. Big difference. 5. A lot of you have asked about getting my locks changed already done. The day she moved her things out, also updated all my passwords, removed her from my credit card as an authorized user, and checked my credit report just to be safe. 6. The most common question, how am I doing now? Better than I expected, honestly. The validation from this post helps. Also, my buddy Tom, who went through a similar situation last year, has been great. We're going fishing next weekend. Work is busy, which helps keep my mind occupied. 7. For those wondering about Derek. According to mutual friends, he completely ghosted Kayla after she moved back home. Apparently, he was only interested in the upgraded model and fun times, not family drama and emotional baggage. Can't say I feel sorry for either of them. 8. Finally, to the people suggesting I was wrong for controlling her body by being upset about the additional procedures, I wasn't trying to control anything. She could have been upfront about wanting additional work done and we could have discussed it. It's the deception that was the problem, not the procedures themselves. Life lesson learned, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And if they need $12,000 worth of improvements before they can move on to someone better, well, maybe they weren't worth your investment in the first place.